Jean Bart, French promo premium Tier 9 battleship. A Richelieu-class battleship known for her high speed and powerful anti-torpedo defense. In the process of her completion in the late 1940s, she received the most advanced anti-aircraft artillery systems for that time, which significantly increased the ship's AA defense. The Jean Bart was a French fast battleship, the second and final member of the Richelieu class. Built as a response to the Italian Littorio class, the Richelieu's were based on their immediate predecessors of the Dunkirk class with the same unconventional arrangement that grouped their main battery forward and two quadruple gun turrets. They were scaled up to accommodate a much more powerful main battery of 8 380mm, 15-inch, guns, compared to the 330mm, 13-inch, guns of the Dunkirks, with increased armor to protect them from guns of the same caliber. Jean Bart was laid down in 1936 and was launched in 1940, following the outbreak of World War II in Europe. The ship was not complete by the time Germany won the Battle of France, and Jean Bart was rushed to Casablanca to escape advancing German troops. She had only one of her main turrets installed, along with a handful of anti-aircraft guns. While in Casablanca, the French attempted to prepare the ship for action as much as was possible in light of limited infrastructure and the necessary parts to complete the vessel. Her anti-aircraft armament was slowly strengthened as guns became available and a search radar was fitted in 1942. In November, American and British forces invaded French North Africa in Operation Torch. Jean Bart initially helped to resist the attack, engaging in a gunnery duel with the battleship USS Massachusetts before being badly damaged by American dive bombers. Following the defection of French forces in the region to the Allied side, the French attempted to have the ship completed in the United States, but the requests came to nothing as the U.S. Navy had no interest in the project. Jean Bart was accordingly repaired as much as possible in Casablanca, thereafter spending the rest of the war as a training ship there. In 1945, discussions as to the fate of the ship considered converting her into an aircraft carrier, finishing her as a battleship, or discarding her altogether. The decision was ultimately made to finish her as a battleship, a process that took several years. Most work on the ship was completed by 1955, when she formally entered active service, and she conducted 2 overseas cruises to visit Denmark and the United States shortly thereafter. She took part in the French intervention in the Suez Crisis in November 1956, including a brief 4-shot bombardment of Port Said. Reduced to reserve in August 1957, she was used as a barracks ship until 1961. She remained unused in the French Navy's inventory until 1970 when she was struck from the Naval Register and sold for scrap. On to the stats: hit points, 69,000, armor, 18 through 430 mm. Torpedo damage reduction, 32%. Main battery. She's equipped with 380mm/45 1935, 2x4 guns. Rate of fire, 2.31 shots per minute. Base reload time, 26 seconds. Rotation speed, 5 degrees per second. 180-degree turn time, 36 seconds. Firing range, 17.5 kilometers. Her HE shell type are 380mm HE, OEM 1945, maximum HE shell damage, 5,400. Chance of fire on target caused by HE shell, 36%. HE shell weight, 884 kilograms. The Jean Barts, AP shell type are 380mm AP, OPF came 1943. Maximum AP shell damage, 11,900. AP shell weight, 885 kilograms. Her secondary armament set 100mm 55 CAD, 1945, 12x2 guns. Firing range, 4.5 kilometers. Rate of fire, 20 shots per minute. Reload time, 3 seconds. Maximum HE shell damage, 1,400. Chance of fire on target caused by HE shell, 5%. Secondary armament set 2. She has 152mm 55 1936 3x3 guns. Firing range, 4.5 kilometers. Rate of fire, 5 shots per minute. Reload time, 12 seconds. Maximum HE shell damage, 2,200. Chance of fire on target caused by HE shell, 12%, onto her 8A defense. Her first set arm, 57mm 60 ACAD, 1951, 14x2 guns. Average damage per second, 357. Firing range, 4.5 kilometers. Second set, 100mm 55 CAD, 1945, 12x2 guns. Average damage per second, 178. Firing range, 5 kilometers. Her final set arm, 152mm 55 1936, 3x3 guns. Average damage per second, 25. Firing range, 5 kilometers. Next up, maneuverability. She is capable of reaching up to 30 knots. Turning circle radius, 850 meters. Rudder shift time, 16 seconds, and her concealment, surface detectability range, 15.4 kilometers. Air detectability range, 12.3 kilometers. Guaranteed detectability range, 2 kilometers. Detectability while firing in smoke, 14.1 kilometers. For consumables, the Jean Bart can equip the following consumables: Slot 1, Damage Control Party. Slot 2, Repair Party. Slot 3, Main Battery Reload Booster, a new consumable added in the December update. When used, main battery reload time is significantly reduced. Slot 4, Engine Boost. For upgrades, the recommended upgrades for Jean Bart are as follows. Slot 1, Aiming Systems Modification 1. Slot 2, any one of these options would good, but I would personally go for Damage Control System Modification 2, or Steering Gears Modification 2. Slot 3, Target Acquisition System Modification 1. Slot 4, Main Battery Modification 3. Performance. Jean Bart is generally viewed as a better Richelieu, and for the most part, this is true. It would be unusual if Jean Bart weren't stronger in some form or another. In Jean Bart's case, this means a general, all-around upgrade with a few unusual quirks to set her out from the crowd. Jean Bart sits on the low end of health points for Tier 7 battleships. While her base health pool is an improvement over Richelieu's Basset hull, it still falls somewhat short when compared to her other Tier 7 counterparts, which can lead to some issues when compounded with the relative thinness of her armor. Jean Bart can find herself somewhat vulnerable in certain situations, as heavy cruisers and light cruisers using can easily deal full damage to almost any part of the ship. Additionally, while Jean Bart's secondary battery looks good on paper, in practice it's somewhat unwieldy. The mounts themselves are relatively weak and are regularly knocked out the course of a battle, and while there are quite a number of them, they are largely composed of small, 100mm guns, a caliber unable to penetrate the vast majority of targets at Tier 7. Aspects of Jean Bart's hull aren't the ship's major draw, though, that honor instead goes to her main battery guns, which provide a massive increase in offensive firepower when compared to those of Richelieu. They have a 26-second reload, generally better shell groupings, and access to a special main battery reload booster. In addition, she retains the high-velocity shells found in other high-tier French battleships. Even though they are only 380mm guns, and thus unable to overmatch a number of high-tier cruisers, the penetration of her shells are more than enough to punish broadside ships. Added to the reload booster and her excellent ballistics, and Jean Bart can be downright brutal to enemy ships caught making a positioning mistake. She can also make use of her good top speed and maneuverability to exploit enemy positions, utilizing her guns to discourage counter-positioning by the opposing team. Here are some pros and cons for the Jean Bart. Pros: Relatively short reload of 26 seconds on her main battery, which can be further enhanced by her main battery reload booster and upgrades. Relatively fast top speed of 30 knots, which can be increased with engine boost. Her 152mm secondaries fire HE with an impressive 12% fire chance combined with a rapid reload. Her forward armament placement allows for easy angling of her armor. Good rudder shift time and turning circle. One of the best AA suites at Tier 7 make her a deadly ship against enemy aircraft. Cons: one of the lowest health pool among any Tier 7 battleships. 32mm plating vulnerable to HE spam. Weakest broadside of any Tier 7 battleship with little to no overmatchability. Most secondaries are unable to fire on targets directly ahead of the bow. Secondary guns can get easily taken out with HE spam. Extremely vulnerable to flanking, and savvy opponents will find it easy to exploit this weakness, and making the ship much less effective in competitive gaming. That is all for the Jean Bart. Subscribe and click the bell notifications to keep up to date with all the videos we post. Also like plus share this video to help the channel grow. Thanks for watching. Good luck and fair seas.